Hi everybody, I am back with a part two. So please forgive me if this is not close up enough or it's hard for you guys to see. As long as you guys are able to hear what I'm saying and stuff, then I'm okay with it because you guys can still get the knowledge and information that you need. Um, During this trip so far, I've tried my hardest to listen as hard as I can to all the stories and pay as much attention as I could to all the information I've been receiving about my family so that it never leaves and that I can document and put down as much as I could and as much as I can. And the journey's not over, but see, I have right now is the best time to get as much as I can from all my relatives about my family. And this is a big family, as you can see, and these are just one, like this is just, this isn't even all of it, you as I've shown you guys, but there's a lot of my family, and there's added on brothers, sisters, all that to each and every one of these people. Each and every one of these people here, like Willie Powell and them, they had millions of kids who also had kids. But it's just so much. You know, I wish I could go into all that, but that's just a whole nother video. But I did want to come back, and I wanted to be able to talk about the sturgeon, I guess, line or whatever I've heard, and the a little bit more about kind of the dates of these people and stuff like that, and kind of more on what's on what I found out about what's on my mother's father's line and what is on my mother's line. So the funny thing about the sturgeon story is for one, let me start off with, I found people that are related on the sturgeon line. I found them on Ancestry. We figured out that we were related through the sturgeons. So they're related through my grandmother Eula, and they're related through her mother, Gillis Washington, and then her parents. So it was really cool to find that out. And then they are the ones who told me that Shad Sturgeon and Adeline Sturgeon were from San Angelo. They are trying to get as much information out of me as they can because I know a lot about the family, probably more than a lot of people. And they want as much information as they can. As my third cousin, Betty Halley, is getting older, she wants to know more about maybe some of the people that I found. She recognizes some people, like Richard Sturgeon. She recognizes him, his name at least, and I think she told me a little story about him. I think she told me a story about how he used to shoot the gun outside, and he'd shoot that gun, and I think she said that like all the kids would run around screaming or something. That was really funny. I don't know, it may have been Shad that she was talking about, but I think it was Richard. Because she remembers more of Richard than Shad, but she remembers hearing Shad's name around the house or just in her childhood. Adeline, she doesn't talk, she only thinks she told me about Adeline is that they were from San Angelo, her and Shad, but she doesn't really talk about anything that Adeline did. But that was really interesting to me. And when I was in San Angelo, they were talking about, for one, I have a picture of a sturgeon. I will get that picture out and do that in another video. But I don't know what sturgeon he is. I just know he's a sturgeon. And I do know that somewhere in San Angelo at this, it's like a I don't know if it's not a fire department. Is it a fire department? It's something like an office or something where there are sturgeons that started something in San Angelo, and I'm related to them, and that was just a really cool story that I had heard. So that was what I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about and what I can remember the most about the sturgeon line. Now, what I want to talk about here on my on my mother's father's line and my mother's line was, I found out really interesting things. Is that one, on my mother's father's side, there is Portuguese, Blackfoot, and Black. And what's funny is I heard from a third cousin named Tante that we had like Spanish roots, Mexican roots, stuff like that. But see, my aunts Eva and Juliet aren't from Wayman Brazil's side. They're not from my mother's side. They're from my mother's. They're not from my mother's father's side. They're from my mother's side, but they're not from my mother's father's side. So they know nothing about my mother's father. So of course they wouldn't know if there were Spanish or Portuguese in the family. That's why they kept telling me they didn't know, because they're not from that line. They only know about their mother's line and maybe their father's, line. So when I found that out, it made so much more sense to connect the dots more on why I was hearing this. And it does make sense because when I took 23andMe, Southern Europe did show up, so that does make sense, and it does add up. I also found out that on my mother's side, there's Cherokee, Irish, and Black. And Irish definitely, Cherokee, I mean, hey, it might be in there. I know there's Native DNA in us, but I don't know what it exactly is, but I guess I'll go by that since that's what I'm told, but it may be something else. I know there's more. There is French, because I heard about French, and that did show. German, we never really heard about German, but I have people, relatives that live in Germany. So, I have some relatives that live in Germany. So, Germany somehow is a big deal for my family because my father has past experiences with Germany. I have an uncle that lives in Germany. My cousin Mickey, has had history with Germany. Like, I was actually supposed to live in Germany. If my adopted family did not take me in, and the people that took me to North Carolina, if my cousin Mickey, my first cousin Mickey, was supposed to take me in, and she was going to take me in, but she had a couple problems that prevented her from taking me in. Actually, the adoption agency was the reason why she couldn't take me in, because she had a sickness. They blamed her sickness on her not being able to take me, and then they blamed the fact that she lived in Germany, or that she was going to Germany, she was too far, she was too much paperwork. The adoption agency, pretty much, it's their fault. But in all honesty, I could have lived in Germany. I could have lived with my family in Germany. I could have grew up in Germany. That's a big thing. But the country Germany is a big deal with my family. I don't know. I've heard so much stuff about Germany from both sides of my family that Germany has some correlation in our roots somewhere. From what I've seen, from what I've heard. So that is pretty much an interesting line of stories that I've heard about, and I felt that it was really bittersweet and nice that, and just really cool that I'm able to find out this information. That's all I really have for this video right now. I hope it wasn't all around the place. Like I said, it's a lot of information. But I will keep you guys continuously just updated on things. Like I said, this stuff is not going to be as in-depth as it is on my Facebook and on my Instagram. So I'm going to post it, and I'm telling you guys, all you people following me, you got to add my face. You got to subscribe, and you don't have to subscribe, but you should subscribe. But if you subscribe, you should definitely look on my Facebook and look on my Instagram, because that's a lot of the stuff. You'll get a lot of the pictures from there. Like, I really shouldn't take my pictures out and show them to you guys on here right now, because they're all on my Facebook and Instagram, like every photo. But I'll probably do that just to be nice at some point. But I can't tell you when that'll probably be 2 weeks from now. It may be 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, a month from now. I'm not sure. Let's hope not. So you guys have a good one. Please stay safe. Please continue to do your family research as well. And please just allow your journey to continue to be blessed. Bye, guys. See you later.